It would have been nice to have seen the regional commander having made effort to try and help us fix appliances like this, but to go out and create a public spectacle, that was rather unfortunate. So our officers were very demoralized, but we are self-deterred, we are self-motivated. Mind you, the kind of fires that we are fighting, we are inhaling toxic smoke, we are inhaling different kind of materials that are burning. We're not wearing breathing apparatus. The smoke is going directly into our offices. They are sacrificing that. We don't have any health insurance. A simple thank you would have sufficed. You could have easily spoken to the commanding officer at that time, get updates. But to create a scene with a camera on you to demoralize the efforts of the firefighters. Yes, you might have a legitimate concern, but the approach you take would go a long way to either encourage or discourage the people on the grounds.
No, but as dangerous as your job is, you don't mean it when you say we don't have health insurance. You're a firefighter. The first thing is your insurance, your safety. I mean, you can't tell the nation Ghana on live TV that we don't have health insurance. I dare you to repeat that again.
So I'm saying it emphatically, unequivocally, that we don't have health insurance. It's one thing that we are fighting for. Our new chief officer has told us she's putting steps in place to help us, but we don't have health insurance. When firefighters get injured at the scene of fire, they use their own resources to take care of themselves and later apply for refund to be paid to them. So if at that moment you don't have money, you would have to go and borrow money from people to be able to take care of yourself. That's the reality that firefighters are facing. A simple thank you would have sufficed.
Your officer was injured in the process. Do you know the condition?
Yes, and it's on admission at Confanoche right now.
He's been taken care of by the states.
No, and he has to take care of it himself, and then later probably apply for a refund or something, which is so unfortunate. So yes, as I said, as a minister, you could have handled it differently. Okay, you are the minister. We owe it a responsibility to you to brief you. At any point, if you feel you haven't been briefed, you can easily call on our officers without having to create a spectacle with a camera there and creating a scene asking us to move. If we move, we would fight the fire. And then publicly trying to malign us by acknowledging the police and the military. Okay. While our men are still on the ground. It's very unfortunate.
A lot of people in Kumasi, in Ghana, throughout would want to know, do you have some answers to what might probably have started this fire? Your initial investigation, what is it pointing to?
So for now, we don't, we are, obviously as firefighting is still in progress, we would have to finish, get to the seat of fire where the fire started, and be able to pick up clues that would give us much information to help us understand where the fire might have started from. People in the area were saying there were some power fluctuations. For now, I can't confirm or deny that until we've subjected it to investigation. So for now, it's still early days yet, and we are.
All right, thank you very much. I believe we spent time with you. We're grateful for your time tonight, and we wish you the very best in your efforts. Ghana can only appreciate firefighters. We're grateful. Just keep up with the good job you are doing. All right, so we'll look at other stories tonight, and here Ghana's intensified fight against illegal mining is beginning to show results with the successful reclamation of 7 forest reserves that had been overtaken by illegal miners, preventing forestry officials from carrying out their duties. Well, the acting chief executive of the Forestry Commission, Hugh Brown, however, warned that the battle is far from over as illegal mining operations continue to threaten the country's natural resources.
Public skepticism was rife about the government's claim that a crackdown on illegal mining in forest reserves is yielding results. 7 out of 9 heavily impacted reserves, according to the minister, have been reclaimed from illegal miners who had previously turned them into no-go zones. While some Ghanaians openly reject the claim, others insist on details of what has been achieved. Acting Chief Executive of the Forestry Commission, Dr. Hugh Brown, has been speaking on the sidelines of the 2025 International Day of Forest School Quiz.
The Amiansu South Forest Reserve, Amiansu East Forest Reserve, Upper Waso, and Afao Hills Forest Reserve. We seized a total of 31 excavators. and all have been evacuated to a safe place in Bebiani. We also seized one bulldozer. We then moved to Sefirioso, where in the Sui Forest Reserve, the illegal operators fled, but we were able to seize one excavator and we seized a pickup truck. I need to indicate that in Nkari as well, one pickup truck was seized around Jimra Forest Reserve. Your Forest Reserve, which is close to Tanwanyia in Enchi, we arrested 3 persons, all 3 being Chinese, and seized a pickup truck.
Dr. Brown credited the success to the combined efforts of the Forestry Commission's rapid response teams and the Ghana Armed Forces.
After the military operation, the forestry guys, with the confidence gained with the flashing out of the illegal operators in Tanwanyia, revisited the area and were able to arrest 12 persons, including 3 Chinese. The area has been flashed, risk has been reduced, so now our guys are able to move in there with the rapid response teams, effect arrest, unlike before, where they were unable to go there at all.
Although significant progress has been made, officials caution that illegal mining remains a persistent threat.
In the western region, we also have one of these red zones, being the Subri River Forest Reserve. We're able to carry out operations, and 56 persons have been arrested and handed over to the police. There are still some portions of that reserve that are under red alert, and we have not been able to tackle it. But what I need for you to understand is that we are at war, and we are fighting organized crime. There's no better way to put this. It doesn't take a day. You would go in and flash them out. It is possible that a couple of days back they'll rebound. But this does not in any way belittle the efforts that have been made and the achievements chalked so far.
Dr. Brown assured that the Forestry Commission and the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources remain committed to ongoing surveillance and enforcement efforts to protect Ghana's forest reserves.
All right, so if you're just joining us, this is news tonight. Let's still talk about mining now. Ghana's battle against illegal mining has been long and fraught with several challenges. Despite interventions from successive governments, the destruction of water bodies, forests, and livelihoods persists. Now, the government is introducing a new task force, that's the Blue Water Guards, to turn the tide. But will this latest initiative succeed? My colleague Tutu Adanso has more.
Ghana's fight against illegal mining has been a long and challenging one, but it's the government's latest initiative, the Blue Water Guards, the solution we've all been waiting for. Let's take a closer look. The Blue Water Guards, a specially trained task force, is the government's latest effort to combat illegal mining. But before we dive into the details, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Illegal mining, also known as galamsey, has been a major issue in the country for decades. And despite efforts by previous governments to address the problem, the situation has only worsened. Galamsey has destroyed our water bodies, forests, and our people are suffering from serious health issues. One of the real hurdles has been the aggression of illegal miners, who are very often heavily armed, and this has made it difficult for authorities to crack down on their activities. It is not just the environment that is under threat, because journalists who dare to report on galamsey have also been attacked and intimidated. The risks are real, and the pressure to stay silent is imminent. At least we know about Operation Halt 2, a group of military personnel who seized and burnt excavators, shangfangs, pumping machines, vehicles and generators, and made some arrests. And anyway, President John Dramani Mahama, among many other things, promised to use artificial intelligence to combat galamsey.
And we introduce and encourage technological innovation to improve capacity for coordinated monitoring of the small-scale and medium-scale mining sectors in order to reduce the environmental impact. This will include using AI to locate all small-scale mining and galamsey operations, to be able to track excavators and geofence all concessions to ensure mining operations are not conducted in unapproved areas, especially in water bodies.
But what happens to the artificial intelligence in this fight, because now we are learning about the Blue Water Guards. The initiative was first mentioned during the vetting of the Lands and Natural Resources Minister, Emmanuel Amakofi-Bois.
This is what the NDC intends to do. We are bringing 3 great initiatives: the Blue Water Initiative, which seeks to heal and harness the environment by turning areas degraded by illegal mining into hubs of economic and ecological recovery. That's what we are going to do.
But the question remains, what makes the Blue Water Guard initiative different from previous efforts? The minister actually believes the guards will be the frontline defenders to protect the country's water bodies.
Water guards will serve as the frontline defenders of our rivers, ensuring that our water resources remain a source of life, livelihood, prosperity for generations to come.
And some social media users have, however, expressed reservations about the initiative. Some stakeholders also disagree.
For a long time, the committee themselves have done very well in reporting on a lot of the illegalities happening in their communities. So if you are now saying that you are going to employ people just to report on what is happening to our rivers, then you have not done anything.
Will the Blue Water Guard initiative be Ghana's solution to the Galamsey problem? Well, at least that is what this government believes. And so let's just wait and see how it goes. Reporting for GHOne Television and Star FM, I am Tutua Danso.
All right, so we'll wait for your reactions on our social media platform. Of course, make your voice heard. We'll make sure we share it with the rest of the world. But let's still stay on the bulletin. If you're just joining us, this is News Tonight. It's the weekend edition of it. Here, consumers who fail to pay their water bills will soon be having their names published as part of measures by the Ghana Water Company Limited to recover outstanding debts. We're speaking to GHOne News on the sidelines of the special event marking this year's World Water Day at the Wager Treatment Plant. Accra West Regional Chief Manager of the company, Engineer Emmanuel Johnson, revealed that failure of some consumers to settle their bills is severely affecting the company's operations. Well, he stated that the Ghana Water Company Limited is awaiting approval from its yet to be constituted board to roll out the Name and Shame initiative.
Thank you.
Our greatest challenge is people who don't pay bills. The bills payments should be taken serious. But without bills, without payments, or without funds, we cannot improve on our services. We are currently using legal means to collect our debts, and we have a program in place that we want to name and shame. So if you are owing, then we want to bring you into the dailies or the newspapers, publish your name and how much you owe. But that is not yet being approved by the board. So I think once the board approves, once you get the board and the board approves of that process, then we can use it. But currently, we are using the legal means to collect our debts. We give our debtors list to vendors, legal vendors, to chase people who are owing the company and then pay.
All right, so let's move on to the presidency. Still talking about water. President John Dramani Mahama has pledged to end the perennial water crisis in the northern region, particularly in Yendi, after the overlord of Dagbon, Yana Abukari II, raised concerns about the inadequate water supply in the area. While speaking during a visit to the Gbewa Palace as part of his thank you tour, the president assured the Yana and the people of Yendi of his commitment to ensure adequate water supply before the expiration of his term. Well, Presidential Affairs Correspondent, that's Abdul Hanan Adam, reports.
Access to potable water remains a major challenge as most communities in Tamale and the Yendi municipality of the northern region battle with severe water crisis over the years. In a speech read on his behalf during a visit by President John Mahama at the Gbewa Palace in Yendi, the overlord of Dagbon, Yana Abukari II, said the worsening condition has forced men, women, and children to travel long distances, often on foot, bicycles, motorbikes, and tricycles, carrying yellow gallons in search of water. from dams, boreholes, and other sources, highlighting the urgent need for government intervention.
Our region, Mr. President, as you already know, is endowed with immense potential, but we are also faced with unique challenges. We employ you to prioritize the following projects in the northern region to alleviate the grave situation our people find themselves in. 1. The Yende and Tamale water projects. A reliable water supply is essential for our community's health and well-being, but the people in Tamale Metro and especially Yende municipality have long since forgotten how it feels like to have constant and reliable potable water. Getting these projects completed will greatly improve the quality of life of the greater majority of the people in the northern region.
In response, President Mahama acknowledged the arduous journeys of the people to fetch water and assured the Yana and the people of the northern region that finding a lasting solution to the crisis remains a top priority.
Tamale is also suffering a shortage of water, perennial water shortages, and that is because the population of Tamale continues increasing exponentially. And so at every point, we must plan to bring more water into Tamale. And so another priority project is to expand the Tamale water supply. This time our intention is to draw the water from the south of Tamale, that is from as far as Yape on the White Volta, and bring that water through Honorable Haruna's constituency.
As part of efforts to promote sustainable farming in the northern region, the president stated that government would establish irrigation facilities which would enable farmers to cope with unpredictable rainfall, enhance productivity, and contribute to economic growth.
We realize that because of climate change, the rainfall pattern is erratic. And so government is targeting irrigation development, because without water control, farming becomes like gambling. I remember last year, after our farmers had planted, the rains were good, and then at a certain point, the rain stopped falling for almost 10 weeks, and many farmers lost their crops. And so our intention is to focus on irrigated agriculture, and the northern region is going to get its fair share of the initial 10,000 hectares of land that we're going to put under irrigation.
Meanwhile, President Mahama later addressed a grand deba at the Tamale Jubilee Park, where he further announced his administration would continue to work to address the socio-economic issues in the country. Reporting for GHOne News, Abdulhanan Adam, Yendi.
Live here at Platinum Place, my name is Kweku. We still have some more local stories for you. The Deputy Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Dr. Justice Shremsai, says fighting corruption within the framework of rule of law is more difficult. Well, according to him, it is being hindered by public interference when people are being investigated on such matters. Well, Dr. Shremsai was speaking at the launch of a 3-year project on strengthening rule of law and fight against corruption in Ghana project, which is part of a broader initiative to support good governance and foster accountability here in Ghana.
A deeper understanding of the educational systems in both countries through idea exchange. Speaking at the event, the Japanese ambassador to Ghana,
that particular story, we'll bring it to you in our subsequent bulletin. But let's take some more local stories as the Japanese ambassador to Ghana, Hiroshi Yomusuto, says Japan is eager to partner with and support Ghana's Ministry of Education in its educational sector reform and development. Well, according to him, the partnership will focus on curriculum development, teacher capacity building, and character development for learners, especially at the primary school level. Well, he was speaking at the Japan International Cooperation Agency. I'm talking about JICA, Ghana's exchange event with students from the University of Tokyo and the University of Ghana.
The Japanese-Ghanaian exchange program seeks to facilitate cross-cultural dialogue between the students of the two universities and promote a deeper understanding of the educational systems in both countries through idea exchange. Speaking at the event, the Japanese ambassador to Ghana noted that Japan is open to sharing its successful education traits with Ghana to enhance the country's education system.
Apologies once again for the poor sound quality. In other stories, in light of increasing mental and psychological challenges amongst the populace, government is being urged to create a special purpose vehicle which will make it possible for citizens to access free mental health services. Well, this call was made at the breaking of Silence Summit 2025 here in Accra. There's more in the following report. Thank you very much for keeping faith with us. However, we apologize for the breaking transmission. We're back in full style and we're bringing you the latest from our world of business. Well, let's take our very first story in business tonight. And here, the Minister of Finance, Dr. Kezela Tuforsen, has categorically denied claims of approving a $1.7 million sole sourcing procurement contract. Well, taking to his social media handles, the GHOne CMMP described the claims as baseless and misleading and called on the general public to disregard same. Well, according to him, since assuming office as finance minister, he has not approved any such procurement. All right, let's look at the railway industry now and here. The managing director of the Ghana Railway Company, Engineer Dr. Michael Ejay Anyete, has warned of an imminent collapse of the railway sector should government fail to support a proposed new agreement with the Ghana Manganese Company.
Established in 1896, the railway company's primary purpose was to hold commodities like cocoa, timber, manganese, and bauxite. However, by the mid-90s, these key operations shifted to road transport, leading to a major decline in railway revenues. The deteriorating infrastructure, faulty tracks, and aging coaches have compounded the woes of the company over the years. Speaking during a familiarization visit by the Western Regional Minister Joseph Nelson to the offices of the railways, the Managing Director, Dr. Michael Ejay Anyete, expressed worry over the backlog of unpaid workers' salaries.
We don't have the infrastructure to generate enough revenue to pay ourselves, let alone do maintenance works. As I speak with you, Honorable, I know you may have heard for some time now, exactly 6 months, am I right? The railway worker has not received salary. And Honorable Minister, I am not going to blame this government. What we are seeing now is a cumulative effect. When I say cumulative effect, I know we will all understand. It didn't start from this government.
Dr. Anyete stated that a current agreement between Ghana Railway Company Limited and Ghana Manganese Company, if given the necessary government support, could help revive the railway sector and improve its financial standing.
We had an agreement from GMC. GMC is Ghana Manganese Company. They made some proposals. They gave it to us. We also did a counter proposal. This proposal, I've been assured it's gone to the minister and it has gone to the president. Honorable, please follow up for us.
The minister assured workers that an action plan by the NDC government is in the pipeline to resuscitate the company.
I must assure you that His Excellency is committed to doing that. You know, you've heard about the 10 billion infrastructure, the big push. Railways is part of it. And so let's pray that it will be good for everybody. It will be good for Western region. It will be good for Ghana, so that transportation generally can also see some huge improvement.
During the visit, Western Regional Minister Joseph Nelson was met with distressing notices posted around the company's premises, bearing desperate pleas such as, "We need an investor to come to our aid. Government, please help us. We are hungry. 6 months without salary."
All right, so yes, that will do for business for tonight. We're coming back shortly with some more energy from our world of sports. All right, so in sports tonight, Otuado, however, expressed satisfaction with Ghana's commanding 5-0 victory over Chad, but insists the team must quickly turn their attention to their next match against Madagascar. Speaking after the game at the Accra Sports Stadium, Oto praised his players for their dominant performance, but emphasized that Monday's fixture will be a much tougher challenge.
It's a little bit worrying because also we have to travel. Madagascar is already in Morocco, and now we're playing in Morocco again, so for them it's much easier. But to be fair, also their game on Wednesday, I think it was very tough for them because some of their players played on Sunday and then playing on Wednesday is very, very tough schedule. I don't know who's doing the schedule, but to be honest, also in the past, sometimes I really don't understand why, for example, we can't play on Tuesday. This one day will give us so much more, especially with the 5 hour flight to Morocco. So yeah, but there's nothing we can do. We have to accept it. Like I said, it will be very, very tough. They have a really, really good team, and surely we are also analyzing the last game. They had a big victory against Comoros 4-1, and like I said, it's going to be very, very tough for us. Yeah, the preparation starts now. It's good that we won, and we can focus on Madagascar now.
So with sports, former sports minister Mustafa Yusuf has commended President John Dramani Mahama for adding recreation to the sports ministry. Well, he emphasized that the over 200 AstroTurf installed under the Akufo-Addo-led administration could now be used to enhance both sports and recreational activities across the regions, making them more accessible and enjoyable for the public.
Need to be maintained. This facility, and we all know the culture of maintenance in our country. All these iconic facilities that I've mentioned, be it the Botsman or the regional level, the one that we have done, and also the over 200 AstroTurfs, and we can all testify. Members of Parliament are here. Hitherto, before His Excellency Nana Addo Kweku, we have only 2 AstroTurfs in the entire country. 8 years, Mr. Speaker. 8 years, we can now count over 200 AstroTurf. And I'm happy. I'm happy because His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has added recreation to the sports ministry. And if you are going to have a very good recreation, this AstroTurf dotted in our various constituencies and districts will be used to assist to have these recreational activities in the region.
All right, all is set for us to bring you some entertainment on GHOne. All right, so tonight on GHOne, have you ever wondered how second-hand clothing, popularly called Obroni Wewu, became a first clothing option for many Ghanaians? Well, how did Ghana move from relying on locally woven fabrics to adapting second-hand clothes from abroad? Well, GHOne's Sena Agjato takes us back into time to uncover the story behind Obroni Wewu, the savior of many.
They arrive in tightly packed bales, wrapped, sealed, and shipped across oceans before landing on the street of Ghana. Once opened, the pile of second-hand clothes, popularly known as Obroni Wewu, unravels. Shirt, skirt, trousers, dresses, each carrying a story from a faraway place. Some still hold traces of their past owners, a lingering scent of detergent, perfume, or even age. No two pieces are ever quite the same. But the journey doesn't end there. These clothes find their way into bustling markets, spread out on cut-open sacks or hang on makeshift racks, ready to be dug through, bargained for and worn anew. From corporate offices to construction sites, from schools to Sunday services, Obroni Wewu has become a part of everyday Ghanaian life. It is no longer just thrift shopping, it is fashion, identity, and the Ghanaians' way of life. But this wasn't always the case. Once upon a time, historians say the Ghanaian ancestors wove their own stories into fabric. Kente, Gonja cloth, Ntoma, and the Batakari carried tradition, identity, and heritage. Clothes were sewn, not shipped. Fashion was local, not imported. Even flour sacks were stitched into shirts. So how did the country move from that to this?
Bruni wewu no eye entare bia abrofo no abrochiban mu no omo to enema tugu omo ehye ntare a omo ma no nsei kura no omo akosesa tugu ena ma Nigeria fo no bi fi asese sasa na ema wi ebeli de ba Africa nti omo de ba Africa no enukure ni eboai na emu ofe
unse brofo de omo mpe adisi enti omo hye ne wanta na omo aja ena ye mi so bi too far idea ni say obe package e de aba ade akọ other countries
minima ni say minyi ye no eno na minim say minim baby free minim like the way I don't have any idea about it, but just say maybe 2 years.
Historian and lawyer Yao Anoche Frimpong traces the origins of second-hand clothing, popularly known in Ghana as Obroniwewu or bend-down boutique.
It was the Fante people along the coast who met the whites first in 1481, thereabout, whereupon the Elmina Castle, St. George, was built. The Fantas say that beyond the waves, the high seas, into a very natural a very natural abrofo. That's the way it became. The moment you wear African clothes, to signify that you don't wear suit to work, and you want to marry somebody's daughter, they will ask the fantasy or your crutchy another fratamini benin. It means you are illiterate. And this is a man who is not educated and is still dressed like the white man. Damiza on the Jamabueni be away not Tarina or the man.
He traces the history behind Obroniwewu.
During the independence struggle, when Nkrumah went there, he discovered that the people were just like when Azambuja 1481 came to meet Nana Kwame Nkrumah and the Fante people. They were barely naked, and the women, those days, they had something to cross the two legs with the beads on. That's all that. With the men, a little something called chokoto, and that's all. Nothing on their body. So it was a CPP women's organizer called Hana Kujo who asked Nkrumah officially that we should import on large scale this white man's clothing to give to the people of the north, just to clothe them.
He also explains why the term has remained in use over the years.
The name would remain because people were importing and selling European clothing, and Broniwewu was cheap, at first given freely, but later when the economy became bad, those who imported would be making money out of it, and in order to kill their business, those who were importing first class, the one original, or those making the fabrics here in Ghana, very original, will have to tease you and make you feel inferior when you are wearing it in order to create a market for themselves, and then make this one such that if you are going to buy, you will hide and buy. So the Nzemais call it boutique, bend down boutique, something like that. You will hide and buy in order to cover your shame.
For many, Obroniwewu is more than just second-hand clothing. It is a reflection of the Ghanaian economy and the choices made as a society. What began as a necessity has evolved into a culture, shaping the way Ghanaians dress, shop, and express themselves. Ghana's fashion identity is constantly evolving, But perhaps the real challenge is finding a way to merge the old with the new. The story of Obroni Wewu is still being written. Sena Ajato, GHOne News.
Indeed, tonight we've educated you. If you've ever wondered where the name Obroni Wewu is coming from, we've given you a fair idea of it. What I'll do for the bulletin, but if you're looking for that station that would educate, inform and entertain you, then definitely you're talking about GHOne TV, and that is why you would have to keep your channel right here. My name is Kweku Temeng. We'll be back on Monday with some more stories in between that.